Hi everyone. This is Sai from LetsUpgrade. So let's talk about how to get your certificate. It's very simple. You will see two links in the description. Number one is the place where you have to go and mark your attendance. Marking your attendance tells us like, okay, you are a legit student who have attended this particular session. Link number two is your assignment. This is where your 90% of the priority is. You have to go and submit the assignment that is given to you in this particular session. Once you're done submitting that assignment, we will be evaluating that. We will send you an email. If you get the passing criteria, then only we will give you the certificate on a particular date that is mentioned again in the description. Please check these three things, and this is the way how you will get a certificate from Let's Upgrade. Number one, mark your attendance. Number two, just go ahead and upload your assignment. Check for the email that you have received it, yes or no. What is the feedback that you have received from your trainer? Number three, check on which date the certificates will be released. Thank you. Bye. All the best. Happy learning.
Hello, everyone. I welcome you all to this amazing topic of SQL. So, this topic is all about calculating on the fly with the aliases. When I say aliases, I mean using the as keyword. So, you might be aware of it, but if by any case you are not aware of it, you don't have to worry about it because in this lecture we are going to cover it all. So by the end of this, you will be able to gain the confidence, and whenever you come across to any of the queries which needs to be calculated using on the fly of the aliases, you will be able to perform it seamlessly. So we are going to extensively see here how we can perform maths in select and name the calculated column with the as. So as I mentioned here, so we are going to use our as keyword within our query. We will see how different ways we can use that. And by the way, I am the presenter and I am Samiksha Mishra. So I will be driving this complete lecture of as keyword in the SQL. So just hold back with your seat and be relaxed. And I would say you don't have to worry about if you are not aware of it because we are going to cover from the basics to advance. So just stay tuned and let's move ahead. So now let's see what is our agenda of the topic. So we are going to see some math expressions inside the select keyword. So whenever we are writing any sort of query, right? So how are we going to use our maths expression with our select keyword that we are going to check? We are going to see how we can aliasing the column using as keyword here. So we will see so many examples using various methods. Then we will see how we can achieve concatenate operations. So which is a very popular interview question as well. So for example, you are given a first name and last name and the expectation is to have full name. So if we concatenate it, we will get the full name. So we will see how we can achieve that as well using the concatenate keyword, which is called concat. And concat is one of the functions. So similar functions to concat. Similar functions to concat. So concat is just one function. We will see more functions with which using we are going to use the as keyword to write our queries in our with using the select keyword here. And then we will see how order by is behaving using our aliases, and what are the drawbacks or whatever thing we can cover up here. And then we will do some hands on exercises. So it will be in three different categories. So one would be completely with related to your maths, and second would be related to your different sort of functions where we will mostly play around with the strings, and thirdly we will see combination of both. So this is going to be our agenda for this complete lecture. So let's get started with our very first topic here. Before diving into writing the queries, let's first get our fundamentals clear. So, for each of the topics, we are going to clear our fundamentals first, and later on the hands on part, we are going to solve so many questions, or we will going to write actual queries using some table which we are going to create. So, we will first see how to achieve it, and then we will try to do the hands on the later. So, for the very first thing is math expression inside a selection. So, for example, I have a table of products. Okay, I have a table of products and I have some items associated to it. So, I might have product ID, name of the product, price of the product, quantity, and let's say manufacturing date, MFD. And we can also have expiry date, EXP. Okay, so when I say I want to use an alias and I want to do some math expression here. So if I say that, I want to calculate what would be total price of a certain product. So how can we do that? Let's not think about creating a column for now, but let's see how mathematically it would look like, right? So what our query would look like. So I would write select if I need to calculate my total of a particular product. So how can total be calculated? Price of one, which is 1 unit, and number of quantity. That's right. So we are going to do select price star quantity from our table name is products. So that's how mathematically we are going to write it. Is that correct? Yes, that is. But make sure for multiplication in general on computers, we use the star symbol to represent for multiplication. For division, we use slash. For plus, plus is there. And for minus, minus is there. Similarly, if I want to achieve, like, if my PID is greater than some number or not, so mathematically we can use it in where. So I would write select, let's select all, select star from my products where my PID is greater than some certain number. So let's say 10. So for all PID greater than 10, we will get it. So mathematically, we can use these symbols. So I guess you might be aware of this, right? But if you see, so we tried to combine two columns into one and then represent it as total, I would say. But we have not actually created the column here. How to create the column, we will see in the next slide how we can do that. Because for example, my current table is this, right? So here we have price, we have quantity, and here I want total. So how to achieve it? So that we are going to cover in next. But I hope how we can use the mathematical expression is clear for you. Now let's see how we can use the as keyword in our query. So in the previous slide, we just saw that how we can use the total price. Now let's try to create a column for this. So if I'm supposed to write a query, what would my query look like? So I would say select. I would use a bracket to make it look more clear. So I would say price star, and I will use as here and my new column name. So which would be my, so for example, total price. And then my from statement would come, and then it will be my product. So if you see, we have created totally new column here. So earlier the table did not have this, but we were able to create a new column using the as keyword. Similar way, so with reference to our previous table, so if you would say that, I don't want it as a name, but I want to change it to be a customer name, then how are you going to do that? Or product name, this is the product, right? So let's try to write a query. How would that look like? So we would write select. So we need to select name. and we need to rename it as product name from product. So you see, now this will rename name as my product name. So we can use this as for two things. So one is to rename, so which is already existing column, and one is to create new column. So we saw, right? So if I say this is my case 1 and this is my case 2, so in this case this is my case 2 and this is my case 1. So using the as keyword, we were able to create a new column, as well as we saw how we can rename the new column as well. I hope using the as is clear. So going forward, when we are going to play around with more functions, and we will conclude with the hands on, by that time you will gain more confidence about it. So even if you are unable to understand right now, you don't have to worry. Just stay along with this, and it is as simple as like renaming something, or creating a new thing. So when we will try to visualize actually in the db, then you will able to understand better. So you don't have to worry. So let's move ahead now. Now let's try to see one of the most common functions used in the SQL queries. So which is our concatenate operation. So which is also known as concat, and its full form is concatenate or concatenation. So what does concatenation mean? It is adding something, or I would say plus. So I say if I have a first name and last name, I need to concatenate it, and I will get a full name. So let's see how we can use concatenate function in our SQL query. So let's assume we have a table called student, and we have some attributes called first name. I will use underscore here. I have last name. Okay, I have a roll number, which should be my primary key. And let's see, we have DOB. Let's not complicate it much. So my requirement is, okay, I need one additional column to be added as a full name. How we can do that? So in mathematics, it was straightforward to use plus, minus, add, subtract, multiplication, all of those functions. But how are we going to play around with the strings? So here concat function comes into the picture. Now if you ask me, okay, now we need to create new column as this. So let's write a query for it. So I will say select concat, and then I will use my first name. I will use comma. I will use a space. So comma will add these up, and my last name, and I will make it as full name from my student table. So if I do this, I will be able to get my full name. Got it? But this is not it. So first we have concat. Second, we have another thing, concat ws function. What does this ws means? It is nothing but separator. Let's see how query with ws look like. It's nothing, you just need to mention one separator. Like for example, you saw, right, we used this here, a space between the name. So similarly, we can standardly generalize it for our all first name or last name to concatenate it to a full name, and it will use those separator to combine them all. So similarly, if I need to use this, how I'm going to do that? So I will say select concat ws. In this case, I will first specify what would be my separator, and then I will mention, okay, this is my first name, this is my last name, and don't forget to mention as full name, and then we have from students. So these and this are absolutely same. It's just that while writing a query, we do have advantage. So for example, if my name is pretty huge, and tomorrow I also get a middle name. Okay, so for the very first case, I have to again put a comma, put single quotes, middle name, last name, like that. First name, middle name, last name. But if I use concat underscore w, then I need to only specify first name, middle name, and last name. Okay. And there is one more category to it, which is called coalesce. So it is spelled as coalesce. So let's see. What does it do? So it basically handles null. So for example, in future, everyone doesn't have a middle name, right? It is not necessary, but mostly we have seen most of the folks, like almost all, have the first name and the last name. But for example, we cannot mandate the category of middle name. And if we use this, then we will end up having one extra space instead of the middle name. That's correct. So in that case, this coalesce function will come into the picture. So which will help us to handle the null part. So let's see if I'm supposed to write the query. So how I can write it. So I will do select concat. I will use a normal concat only. And okay, let me use the other one, concat ws. So it will be easier for us. I will specify what my separator wants to be, first name, and then I will put, and then, so whatever attribute I want to handle null for, that only I will add middle name, and it may replace it, not space, it's just simple quotes, and then I do comma. So it will only do null when we have blank in middle name, and then I will add last name as well, and then I will name it as full name, and I will add my students. If you see, just the concat has three variation and it looks so interesting, right? We saw all three cases and we were able to write the query as well. This was our case one, then case two. And so in the similar way, while writing the code, we will actually see, how to visualize on the actual queries. This concat function was helpful for you. We are going to see more methods or the more functions with which we can play around with the queries and which for our functionalities. Now let's see what are the other functions. So we have one of the functions called round. So for example, in our table, we have a floating variable which is, MRP, and it says point something. Okay, and we need to round off and create a new table. In that case, we can use this round function. So, how this can be used? So, we will write round. We are going to mention our number and we are going to mention our decimal places. So, if in the query, if you would ask me how we can do that, then you need to write select. So, I'm just writing some generic one. We are not referring to any table, just to make you understand. Round. And so, for example, we have 45.6789, and we have two decimal places. So what it will refer as? So it will make it up to 45.68. So rounding will work as expected, like whatever we do in the maths. So if you see 6 is as it is, and if 7 is greater than 5, then it is upgraded to the next number. So that's how the rounding function works. In the similar way, we have another function called upper. So for example, if I have my first name and I need to make all the characters of name as uppercase, then how I can do that? I can do select. I will use my upper function and my first name. So what it will give me? It will give me first underscore name. Similarly, we have one more function called lower. So if I do select, I just need to simply mention lower. It will make it as all lowercase characters. So I would say first name. Then what would be my output? It would be first name. It is very simple. Like while coding, also you might have used all of these functions. So it won't make much complex here. So another one interesting one we have is case. So you might have heard about switch cases in any of the OOPS languages. It is as similar to that. So its syntax is we write case when, so for example, condition 1, then result 1. Then we have when, so we are just mentioning different cases. Condition 2, then it should be my result 2. When my condition 3, and then my result 3. Similarly, it can go on, and we do have one default one. So we mention it as else default, and make sure to mention an end clause here. So it will help us to end it. So for example of this, while doing the hands-on, we'll see how we can write the code, because even if I try to explain here, it won't be very clear. So let's better see it in the hands-on section. So we are going to cover the example of this there. And another one we have is, I will write it here, length. So for example, if I say I want to count the size of characters in a word, or what is the length of a string, then I would use LENGHT and size. Like size is my word, it can be anything. So what output it will give me? It will give me 4, because it is 1, 2, 3, 4 characters. So similarly, like if I would have added it to a phone number or anything, so for phone number we might get 10 characters. For name, for example, it is Rahul, then I might get 5 characters. Uh, so I guess, yeah, this was all it about other functions which also can be used in the aliases, when we are using for creating a new column, or, to recreate an existing column. So we covered 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So these three and this one length was a little straightforward. But for the case one, as we mentioned, we will see on the hands-on part. And on the hands-on, we will see and try to execute the query for all the cases as well. But for the case one, it will be more clear when we write the query and see it practically. Now let's see how is it different to use order by, where, or having in while using the aliases in the query. So when I say select price star, okay, and I will make it as total, just to make it simple, from product. Okay, so in case of order by, if I need to do that, I can directly use order by my new name. It is correct. It is correct, and it will be able to read. But for example, I need to use some condition using where. So I want to see, where my total is greater than 100. Where my total is greater than 100. In this case, it won't be able to read, and it is a wrong syntax. What would be the correct one? So instead of this, we need to write where price star is greater than 100. So this will be correct. In the similar way, group by also works same as the where. So whenever we are mentioning group by keyword, we need to mention the multiple columns which we are trying to make it as one, instead of directly using our new column. So group by for that as well. If for example, we are doing some operations, we need to group it with respect to anything, and I need to compare. So in the query, instead of total, while comparing, I will use price star quantity. You cannot use directly total, cannot be used. This is correct. So make sure while writing it, these are the some cases which we need to take care of. And sometimes students do mistake, and it is a very interesting interview question as well, because they will try to play around with your knowledge and make you confused. So it can be confusing, but if you try to practice while writing the code or the query, then you will get better understanding, and you won't get confused. Okay, so no need to worry about it. While practicing, you will get familiar with it. Now we will get started with the hands-on. So I would request you to try to write queries along with me so that you get better understanding and you are able to get more clarity about it. So I will be using SQLite.com for that. We have a temporary DB online. So in case like you don't have the database installed in your system, you don't have to worry about it. You can browse it on your Google and just simply use it. So let's get started. And additionally, I will be following these questions. So with each of the sections, I will be covering five questions of different categories. So with each question, the level might get increased, but no need to worry. Just write, stay there, and try to put effort from your side as well. So we will try to do it together so that we are able to master by the end of our last query. So I will open my SQLite now. Okay, so I have opened it and I have added the questions for our reference. But before starting with the questions, so we will first try to create a couple of tables. For that, we are going to refer to solve the problems, and you can also do it along with me. So let's first try to create a table. So I would do create table and I will make it as customers. Customers. I will put brackets to it, and now we will fill in the attributes of our customers. I will put one customer ID of type int, and let's make it as a primary key. I will put first name, as varchar of maybe 30 characters. I would add one middle name again of varchar of 30 characters. I will put one last name varchar of 30 characters, and we will add just simply one more attribute city of 30 characters. So let's select it and run this. So if you see, a customer table has been created. Now let's insert some values to it. So I have some values handy. So I would use that only. Insert into customers, and I will use values. And let me add those values to it. You can add more as well if you require, but this should be more than sufficient. So let's run our query. Okay, so we have ran it. Let's see how the customer table looks like. So select star from my customers. Okay, so if you see, some of the middle names are null, one characters are there, last name is there, city is there. Okay, looks good. Also at the same time, let's create one more table called item. Create table, order items, I would say. Let's insert some associated attributes to it, and I will make it as a primary key. And then I will use one product name of type varchar. We'll put a price using our decimal of type decimal, so that we can use that round off thing here. Let me make it aligned, and later let's add quantity to it. Let's make it as int, and lastly let's have one discount percent, so which would be also of type int. Okay, that is all we want. Let's try to run this query and it will help us to create customers table. Okay, done. Customer table is done. And let's try to insert some values to it. So I have some values handy. Let me use those only. So it will be easier for you. You guys can pause and add from your end. Now let's try to visualize the order items table. Select, it should be star from order items. Let's see. How does that look like? Oh, perfect. So we have order item table as well, and we have customer table as well. Now let's get started with our questions. So let me maybe move it to below so that we will be able to see. Okay. So our very first question says, create a full name using concat. So let's create that. So we'll do select. We will use the concat function. We will use the first name. We will use a space, and then last name. I will close the bracket. I will use the alias as, and we will make it as full name, and I will make it as from customers. So let's try to run it. Okay, so if you see, we were able to create a column named full name, so which helped us to concatenate both first name and last name. So if we want to see, we can mention first name comma last name, and let's see if we are able to get it. Oh, that's great. So this is our first name, this is our last name, and this is our full name. Okay, first one is done. Great job. Create full name using concat ws. So as we told, ws with separator means with separator, so we need to specify which sort of separator we want. So let's try to write the query for that as well. So we will use concat ws. Okay, we will put the separator first, and first name. Okay, we will put a middle name, and we will put a last name. So we don't have to add spaces in between all, because the ws would take care of it. As full name from my customers. Let's try to run this. Okay, so if you see in the above one, it didn't add the middle name because we didn't ask it to. If you see, we were able to get it. So we were able to get my second query written as well. Very nice. Great job so far. Third one, let's try to handle the null in the name using quels. So if you remember, so we were using to handle the null cases, right? So let's try to write it. So I would use concat. Okay, concat, and first name comma. I will use that cols. I will mention my middle name. I need to replace it with like no space. I will put one space, and my last name. I will put it as full name from customers. So if you see, so what it has done is it has concatenated it. So after first name, let's add one space as well, because if you see, the middle name is getting concatenated here. So let me add this. So this R will be separated a bit. Perfect. Oh, so far, great job. We have completely done the 3 good concatenation queries. Now let's move to the further one. Okay, so show full name in uppercase. So I need to show the full name in the uppercase. Wow. Let's do this. How we can use that? Select. I will use my upper method here. I will use my concat ws. Okay, let me use this line here. So that we save the time. Once we are done, I will make it as full name from my customers. Oh wow, we were able to make it as uppercase. And in the similarly, if I want to make it as lowercase, what I need to do? I will just simply replace it with lower. So even the first characters will be converted to lower. Now lastly, we have add city info with concatenation. So we need to add city name as well here now. Let's try to add it. So select or concat, and we will mention our separator first. We will concat our first name comma last name. Okay, and I will do it with my city as name underscore city. I will name it as that from my customers. So let's see how does that look like. So if you see, it was adding my city along with the name. So great. We have completed all of these here. So let's try to mark. So we were able to do this. So these are all related to strings, and if you were able to do it, then you have already mastered this method using the aliases. So congratulations. Now let's move ahead. Now let's see with our queries, which is related to our maths and the functions. So let me copy this and let's paste it here for our reference. So we are going to use the similar table here. Okay. So let's get started with the query for that. So on the continuation of both customer and order item table, whatever we have created. So for the very first one, so now what we need is total cost is equal to price into quantity. So let's try to do that. So select product name. I will select that price star quantity, and I will make it as total cost from my order items. So if you see, it was able to show me. But if I want to see the actual price and the quantity as well, so we will be able to see it better if the maths was done correct or not. Yeah. So you can visualize how the product name, price, quantity, and total cost would look like. Okay, great. Let's move ahead. So we need to find the discounted price. So if you remember in the order items table, we had one attribute called discount percentage. So using that only, let's try to calculate the discounted price. So I will do select product name. I need to write the formula for it. So price is multiplied by my 1 minus discounted price upon 100.00 as my discounted price from order items. So this is the discount formula. Okay, so let's see what was my percentage and price so that I am able to see better. So if you see, if 1200 has a discount of 10, which means 1200 minus 120, which comes out to be 1080. Oh, it calculates perfectly fine. So that's how we can calculate the discounted one. So if you see, we are simply using the mathematical formula here, nothing artificial or anything which we don't know. So it is straightforward. Now let's see what would be a revenue label. So when I say revenue label, I want to make it look like with rupees and all. So how I can do that? So I would, oh sorry. So I would use my select product name, and I will use my concat function. Concat, I will put a revenue. Okay, let's put a dollar symbol because I am unable to find the rupee symbol in my keyboard. So I will put price star as quantity, and we will make it as revenue label from my order items. Oh, sorry. This should be my revenue underscore label. That's why that red mark was coming, because we didn't put the underscore. So if you see, it is showing it like this. So if I see my price and quantity as well, so how does that look like? Oh wow. So we are getting it looking more beautiful, right? So using aliases, you can see how beautifully you can present it with your data. And you know, it is very effective while generating a report or any creating any dashboard, or when you are playing around with the numbers, especially when it comes to huge data or any statistics. Then it gives you so much relaxation for the readability of the data. So let's move to the ninth one. We need to round the total cost. Let's do that. So we will do select product name, and I will use my round keyword to achieve it. Price star quantity. And if you remember, I need to put how many decimal places I want it as total I would say rounded from order details. So if you see, I'm able to get it total rounded as these many attributes because do not have it in decimal, so it is not making it round off. Yeah, it's not rounding that off because it is all in integer. So if we will have it as decimal, then it will be able to round off. Show items costing more than 2000. So if we need to achieve it, how we can do that? So I would say select from order items where, so I need to mention the mathematical expression here. Price star quantity is greater than 2000, because if I would have replaced it with the name, so it would have throw me an error. So whatever price is greater than 2000 for the total, so we will be able to see that only. Let's quickly have a look on this. So we were able to do this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. You have mastered the maths expression as well. Now for the next section, it is going to be even interesting because we are going to do the combination of both of the things. Let's see how it goes. Now coming to the last part, it is combination of both maths and the string. So let's see how we can use this. So I will again use the same set of tables here. Okay, let me quickly add it to the comment. Okay, so for the very first question, we need to make a descriptive item label. So when I say descriptive item label, I mean I need to make it as this. So if you see, we have added a keyboard, mouse, monitor, laptop stand, right? So we need to put, okay, these are my quantity and this is my final price. How I can do that? So let's write a query for that. So I would say select concat my product name. I will add it. Okay, there is a space, so I will add a space here, and then I will put my quantity. Okay, again it will be pieces. Okay, we'll try to stick with the same format. Okay, final dollar, and then this we will make it as price star quantity, as make it as label from order items. Let's see how does that look like. Wow, this looks very beautiful. Okay, I will make it as capital L. So nice, right? So if you see, we were using concatenate as well. We were using the mathematical expression as well. We can do a lot of things here using the aliases. I guess you might already, feel so excited about it, and it's just so beautiful to see. And you can see, how going forward you can use it in your projects, or going forward when you start working in the corporate, you will be able to visualize better, how such a column is getting generated. So you will be able to understand it. Moving to the next part, categorize by price using case and concat. So if you remember, we mentioned about the switch case, but I didn't gave you an example. So here we are going to see the example how we can do that. So I will use my product name, and then I will use a case here. Then I will mention when my condition, when my price is greater than 500, then cat product name, I would say it is a premium one. Okay, I would say else concat my product name is just a standard one, standard. And if you remember, I mentioned we need to mention end, and once you mention end, we need to specify our category label. And I will mention my from order items. We can see so many red spaces, but okay, case, okay, here it should be a comma. Okay, so if you see, we were able to add it using case. So for example, if I say, the price is greater than 500 or less than 500, then it is standard. If it is between 100 or 500 to 1000, then it is classic, or greater than 1000, then it is premium. So as per your requirement, you can add more cases to it. So that's how you can achieve it. So let's see the third one, which says show discount saved. So we need to show our discounted price. So I would say select product name, price, star, quantity. I guess above we wrote the same. So, but yeah, anyways, we will write it. Discounted price, I mean percentage divided by 100. Dot zero, I will mention as discount saved. Like, what is the discount you have saved it from order items? So my formula might vary, that's why. So this much discount I have saved in all of these items. Okay. Now moving on to the 14th one, percentage with percentage symbol. So we need to specify the percentage with the percentage symbol. How we can do that? So select product name. I would do concat. Okay. Discount percentage. I would use this percentage symbol and I will make it as discount label from my order items. Why is it showing the red one? Okay, product name. Okay, I just missed the comma. So, yeah. So, we are able to see how much percentage we are getting. And lastly, we need to find the length of our full name. So, if you remember, there was a function called length to do so. So, maybe we can use the above method. Okay, let's write a new query as well so that we can also do some practice. So concat ws, so it will help us to separate it. Ws my last name as full name. Okay, I will make it as full name and then I will use my length. So my full name won't be recognized, so I need to mention this as my name, my customers table. Okay, I need to mention. So let's try to run. So okay, I'm able to get full length as 11. So 1 2 3 4 1 4 5 6 and the space is counted a one character. Going to back to the board. So we were able to do all of these, and if you remember, this was discussed previously. We saw how the cases works. But now what you can do is you can try, but if you were able to do all of these 15 questions, you are good to go and you have already, gained so much confidence and it will definitely boost up. So even if you were not able to do it, no worries. You can try to reattempt it again and you can go back and check it. You found this useful, and this is a very beautiful keyword in the SQL query while writing it. And while writing the query, you might have already realized how useful this can be. Thank you again for watching this, and keep continue doing the learning and the good work. Have a good day. Bye.